so the way that this drill is going to work is, I'll do it facing you so you can see better. You're going to start behind one, doesn't matter which one. You can switch it up as you see it. We're going to do a shuffle to the outside. We're then going to do an outside C-cut. So I'm going to use my right foot in this case, right, because it's my outside leg. I'm going to C-cut up to here, right? So one big C-cut up. Then I'm going to shuffle over so that way I'm sort of right in front of this puck. And then I'm going to T-push back diagonally so that I'm in front of this puck, and then reset. All right, so let's do one. Outside foot, shuffle out, T-push, cut, outside. Nice and slow, okay? Don't want you to do it on this side, that's another time mix it up. Alright, so start whenever you're ready. Shuffle to the right. Outside C-cut. Yep. Good. Shuffle to the left.
Shuffle.
Yep. Then T-push. Alright. So it's going to be shuffle to your left. Right here. So let's go do it. Outside leg. Shuffle to your right. T-push all the way diagonal. Good. Reset. Nice. Just like that. Alright, same thing. Shuffle to your right. Outside leg C-cut. Shuffle to your left. T-push diagonally. There it is. And then keep going. All good. One more. Good. All right, this next one, same pattern, except when you get to the top here, right, you're going to shuffle over, C-cut forward, shuffle back. Once you get here, I want you to do the butterfly. And then we're going to recover T-push back to our feet diagonally instead. All right, so it'll be out, right, C-cut forward, shuffle across, butterfly, then you're going to recover the outside leg, push across, T-push, reset. Really, you get my skate. You have to have like super sharp skates to work on, right? My blades are still dull from last time. I had 2 on-ice sessions this week, and I felt like I had no edges the whole time.
Sounds like me.
So yeah, okay, note to self. Gotta get our skates straight before next time. Alright, so nice and slow. Don't overextend. Alright, knowing that you might slip out. Alright, butterfly, T-push recovery over to the far left. Yep, just like that. Yep. It's all good. Butterfly, T-push recovery, far side. Good, yep. There you go. Yep. One more round. Good. And on ice we have more options too. So on ice what we can do is we can change up the pattern. So maybe we do butterfly, and then instead of a T-push recovery back to our feet, we do a power slide diagonally, right? Then recover back. Or maybe we do a power slide diagonally. Then once we arrive, we power slide back. Then we, kind of mix it up a little bit. You can get creative with it, throw in a couple different patterns. And this gives you a chance to really work on a few things. Let's say, all right, I really want to work on my butterfly to recovery to then push back. So I could do butterfly, recover across, then push back, slide. Things like that. You can kind of dabble with that. So, next thing we're going to do is a nice little rebound control warm up. Nothing crazy. I want you at about the top of the crease, which would be here. It's going to start in our butterfly. Now, 4 things about rebound control that we want to keep in mind. Right, our rebound control starts with our angle. How are we presenting ourselves to the puck? Next up is keeping an active stick. When those pucks come along the ice, we don't want to just let them hit our pads, because more times often than not, it's going to hit you and bounce out into a bad zone, right? A high risk zone. So instead, we want to try and get our stick on those pucks. Third, active hands. Right? The more we keep our hands active, the more we can control not only the puck, but how the puck bounces off of us, and then we can control where it might end up. Alright, and fourth is going to have that nice soft chest. So just like when we receive a pass, right, we don't want to have our stick firm planted on the ice, because what's going to happen? It's going to hit the stick and bounce off. We want to receive that puck, right, cradle it in. So just like that, we want to do the same thing with our body. As that puck comes into us, right, we then cradle it into our body, right? We give a nice little hug that puck. That way we can kind of receive the energy, dissipate it, and then hang on to that rebound. If we stay firm, right, and too stiff, what's going to happen? It's going to hit us and bounce right off versus receiving that puck. All right, so those are the four things that we want to keep in mind in terms of rebound control. Like I said, starting right here, just in a nice big butterfly, active hands. I'm going to throw probably like 6 shots on you. All right, this first round is just going to be nice, slow, 50%ers, nothing crazy, and I just want you to focus on the technique. All right, so we're going to just try to find those pucks. All right, good. Those shots that are coming in right on, sometimes those are hard to redirect. So what I want you to do is, a lot of times when we rotate our body out, we can change the trajectory of the puck by rotating our stick. Same thing when the pucks are coming straight at us. Instead of rotating our body, what we can do is rotate our stick blade. All right, so you can use your blocker, right, to keep your stick more vertical, but angle it a little bit. All right, so bring your blocker hand up a little bit. All right, a little bit more. All right, now I want you to just rotate your blocker hand out a little. Right? Notice how my stick is staying in the same place, but it's rotating the angle. Notice how it's doing that? Right? So that's how we usually get those pucks right off our pass. All right, bad shot, bad shot. There you go, see? Just like that. All right, that slight vertical rotation versus nice. Don't be afraid to drop that blocker and rotate that stick out of the way. Sometimes we need to take our stick up off the ice and rotate that blocker so that we have a better, see where your blocker hand is now? Right? It's in a much better position to close off that gap, but your stick is up off the ice. So sometimes we do need to change the trajectory of our stick or the position of our stick so we can get our blocker, right? So get your stick on the ice, right? And then I want you to rotate it so that you can use your blocker a little easier. There it is. Nice. There. Remember, soft chest. Nice. Alright. Got some pucks. This time I'm going to shoot a little harder. Basically, stay on your post. When I say go, I'm going to shift over to a certain spot. And that's going to then force my stick to then adjust this. As this adjusts, it's going to give you a better idea of where you are in relation to where the shooting is. Alright. So for instance, let's see. So the way that this is going to present off my stick is going to be the same angle that a puck would take, for instance. So like if I have Alright, so if I have my stick right here, this is my shooting angle. Alright? Notice how it shows you exactly where the extremes are on that post. Alright, so if you come out, take away that angle. Yep. Come all the way out. Yep. Now get your stance. Alright, now you've taken up effectively all that space. Move back in the net now, almost to the goal line. And now get your stance. Alright, look how much more space there is to look at. Yep. So, what I want to do is I want you to start on your post. Alright, and you're going to come out and T-push to the angle that my stick's taking. Now, I might move it from here to over here. Alright, and I want you to always assess where that stick angle is, where that release angle is, and then I want you to come out to that spot. Alright, so for instance here, alright, on your post, T-push out to take away the angle. Good. Alright, back to your post. Now if I cut out, T-push out to take away the angle. There it is. Alright, back to your post. Alright, same thing. T-push out, take away that angle. Good. Alright, notice now, stay on that angle right there. If I adjust the angle of my stick, right, notice how it changes the trajectory. Alright? However, look how much time, for instance, if you're right here in your position, right? Now shuffle over a half step. There you go. Alright? A lot of times we have a tendency to overcommit on that adjustment. So, for instance, if I'm right here, alright, and then I pull that into my body, good. Now I'm going to keep sliding over. Yep. Good. Now back. Good. There you go. Alright, same thing though when we get in tight. From in tight. Alright? But now it's actually even less space that you have to move. Alright, so getting a good post lean right there.
Gotta go in arm reach.
No, I want you to stay on your feet. Alright? Now, notice how my stick has a little bit of space on the blocker side from here. Alright? I want you to try and, rotate out just a little bit, but stay in your post lean. Yep. Good. Now, bring your stick, the toe of your stick to the edge of your pad on your 5-hole. Good, right there. Alright, now you're taking up so much more space. If I try and go high blocker, all you have to do is just rotate that elbow up. Right? Try it. Rotate that elbow up just like that. Alright, that's really all the space that I have to shoot at other than 5-hole. So really on this save right here, unless they're going to shoot it right at you, you really only have 2 options to worry about. High blocker and 5-hole. Both of which can be closed off real quick. Now, swing back, right? Rotate back so that you're on the goal line. Same thing. Now, if you had taken that stance, right, there's so much more space. A slight rotation out, C-cut, good, just like that. Notice how that minor adjustment just took away all that time and space. so that you can see this out there. Alright, so if you're in your RVH from this position, yep. Alright, now you're going to notice when you're watching the video afterwards, there's a lot of space above your shoulders. Instead of keeping your shoulders down like that, almost in a scrunch position, I want you to try and keep your upper body up a little bit more. Bring your glove down, rotate it around. Yep, now I want you to extend your elbow on your left hand and your shoulders up until your arm is straight up and down. Alright, so extend your arm, your left arm, so that it's all the way up and down. Alright, with your glove, yep. Now bring your glove up a little bit more with your shoulder. Good. Alright, now, a lot better. Alright, taking up a lot more space. What's happening now is that you're elevating your shoulders. Alright, before you had them so compact that what was happening is in order to spring up from that compacted position, it was taking too much time. Versus if you get a nice tall stance, yep. Alright, bring actually your right leg out a little bit more, parallel, there you go. Alright, and bring your stick and your glove and your blocker up a little bit higher. Yep, good. Now, if I was to shoot low, rotate your elbow out on your blocker side. Up, the other way. Yep, all the way over. Bring it all the way out and around so that, for instance, you're going to sweep across. So take your stick and go around like that. Yep, yep, there you go. Now, what you're doing is you're giving yourself an option. So if the puck comes low and they try and pick that little space in your 5-hole, you could use that upper body rotation, right? And not only does it help you put the puck in the far side, but now it puts your upper body and your momentum going in the right direction, which would follow that rebound. All right, so let's try it again. Get into your RVH. All right, good. Now I want you to try a VH.
A VH?
Yeah, just the VH. All right, so it's going to be vertical pad on the left side. Yep, I want you to get your left arm, your left elbow outside the post.
Left elbow?
Left elbow outside the post, yep. All the way outside, so you're almost like hugging it. Hug it into your armpit. Yep, so you're going to do like...
I'm sorry, you said you never do VHs.
No, I know, and that's why I just want to show you what it might look like. All right, so bring your butt a little closer to me. Yep, there you go. Right there. See how your shoulder right here kind of hugs into that post? All right, now we can bring our upper body like that. Yep, there you go. Now, I want you to look at what that's going to see like. All right. Now rotate your blocker hand and your leg out a little bit more. Yep, there you go. That's a great VH. Because what's happening is now you're actually taking away a lot more of that short side. And also, if I try and pick that glove, all you have to do is a little, hi, how are you, right? Notice how that's a lot easier from that angle. All right, now go into your RVH from here. Yep, there you go, much better. Look at that. All right, so now you can see how on the camera you'll see you're taking away a lot of the same space. So what you have now is two great options for short side shots. And what you need to keep in mind when you're deciding which option to take is where is the possible options, where are the other plays, where are the risky areas that I have to be aware of. For instance, if I know that we're strong side here, right, I might go RVH because it's going to be a lot more comfortable, a lot easier to get into. However, if there was a possibility that there's a guy far side on the back door waiting, I might go VH. The reason being that I have my blade, my push leg, set, and I can push across. A lot of times, it's really difficult to get a good push across in the RVH until they start physically setting the posts, right? Because now when you just have the pegs, as soon as you push off, it just flies back. You don't have any pressure to push off of. The net comes off the moorings, right? And you get a very weak push across. Now, there's an option you can do in order to try and mitigate that, especially at this point where you're not having the post formally set into the ice, and that's by using our upper body momentum. So what I could do is I could shift my upper body up and across. So what it's doing is, as I'm in my RVH, I can then take my shoulders, which are now over my right knee, and as I bring them across, I can actually use that to create momentum, all right, and then push over. So I have my foot, I can then set it, and then push, all in one motion. So what it's doing is it's allowing me to get off that post without necessarily having to push off that post. All right, so that's what we're going to try a little bit right now. We're going to try a little bit of how can we get our body nice and tall, right, and take up that space on the short side. Just like last week, or 2 weeks ago, we were practicing how do we make those adjustments when our shots are coming from a little bit further out. So the way that this drill is going to work, we're going to have two options. This short side option, then I'm going to have one right here. So what I want you to do is we're going to start right here. Alright, you're going to come out, take away that angle. I'm going to put one shot on, you're going to go down and make the save, and then I'm immediately going to swing over to this option. Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to practice transitioning from the save here, and then figuring out what do I have to do going into the post to take away as much space as I can. Alright? Now, keeping in mind, how far away am I from the net? Right? If I'm further away, it gives me a lot more room to go upstairs versus if I'm in tight. So if I'm in tight, all right, that's when we're going to try and attack the puck with those active hands. All right? That's when we're going to try and smother it. However, if I'm a little bit further away, then I want you to come out a little bit taller, a little bit more aggressive in terms of where my hand position is, because I have a lot more options to go upstairs. All right? So we're right here first. Alright, so I'm going to put a shot on, and then I want you to adjust. Good, just like that. Okay? Remember, get that upper body, get those shoulders up over that lead leg. Try it again, it's all good, don't worry about it. Alright, I want you to do it nice and slow. Alright, 50% speed. Alright, we're going to take it nice and slow. Alright, I want you to plant that foot, come over, bring those shoulders up. There you go. Much better. Try it again. Same thing. All right, half speed. Try it again. Nice. You went into the post a lot cleaner that time. Before, what happened was you went into the post with a little cockeyed, right? You were kind of out on an angle, facing the corner board versus pushing back and keeping your shoulders square to me. So that second rep that you just did, much better, much more efficient. There it is, good job. Last one. Try it again. Really focus on getting that push leg in tight, especially here in the place. Because if you don't have that push leg in tight at all, all right, it's going to slip out every time. All right, so stop, get that push leg in much tighter. Get that knee up higher. Up higher. Yep, and now push it. Try it again. All right, same thing. I'm going to pause after the first shot, and I want you to work on getting that knee as high as you can, and that skate as close to your knee as possible. All right, so one, bring that in all the way up. Yep, and now push over. Much more in control. Feel that? All right. You have not only that, but when you arrive on the post, you have your anchor leg step, and now it makes you much stronger, much more confident, especially when facing the puck. How confident do you feel in this particular, right? And that's why we do a lot of these drills half speed. Because I don't care necessarily to go as fast as I can right now. What I want you to do is, I want you to focus on how can I execute this maneuver as efficiently as possible. Because the speed will come as we get better at executing these techniques. The speed will naturally build. It's kind of like anything else. You can't necessarily run right away. You have to kind of crawl a little bit first. And that's exactly what we're doing here, right? We're going to crawl a little, that way when you get on the ice and it actually has to go full speed, you're going to be so confident in your mechanics that you can go full speed without worrying about it, right? Because you know you're going to execute everything perfectly. It's kind of like, for instance, playing the drums. If I don't get my technique down when I'm going slow, when I try and go faster, I'm only going to be able to go so fast because my technique isn't good enough. Same thing with this. You could possibly put yourself in a position where you can't go as fast as you want to because you're not getting enough power transfer on your slide across, because you're not bringing your foot close enough to your knee to actually transfer that momentum, because you're not getting your shoulders up over your lead leg. Things like that, those little micro details that we work on right now is what transitions to having confidence in the technique overall. All right, so I want you to keep focusing on those little details. Where are my hands, right? Where am I setting my blade? How am I transferring my weight? Stuff like that, okay? Ready? First shot, and then transfer. Same thing, right? We tried a little too quick. Slow, slow, slow. All right, same thing right here. All right. Set that leg, good. Now push. Nice, good, just like that. All right, same thing, we're gonna do it in 2 parts. All right, so first shot right here, it's on. Then we're gonna transfer that weight, yep, find it. Good. Try to get that blocker hand, same thing with the glove. Try and get it as vertical as possible so that your blocker arm is almost vertical and your blocker is sitting right on top of your pad. All right, so go into the post real quick. RDA. Yep. All right. Yep. There you go. All right. Because what's happening is, if you come in too tight and you slouch your shoulders, you're now going to give up a lot of space up tall. But if you come up right like that and you get a little bit more into that post, yep, you can actually wrap your elbow around it a little bit. Yep. Good. Now what you're doing is you've now taken away all that space. All right. I want to show you that real quick on the camera. All right. So go into your original stance. All right, where we had our, all right, and now wrap your elbow around and get a little taller. Nice. So what you effectively did was you put your head right in that shot trajectory, right? Versus before when your elbow was just on the post, now I have a huge gap to try and pick. Yep, notice that minor adjustment, right? That little shift of your weight makes all the difference. All right, so that's what we're gonna try. All right, nice and slow once again. We're really going to focus on how do we shift our weight into that post. All right, we're going to start right here with a quick little chip shot, and then I want you to transfer that weight. Good. All right, ready? Nice. Great job. Keep it up. All right, same thing. Yep. Set that foot. There it is. Much better. There. Good job. One more. There. Nice job. I love the way that you transition from what you were doing before into taking the advice and then executing it here. It really is a big part of what makes a player coachable, right? So is the ability for you to understand what I'm trying to, my point that I'm trying to get across, and then for you to then adapt what you're doing to then meet that, all right? So that's a huge thing. So we're kind of into that shooting angle. All right, we're gonna do this 1 rep, and then after this rep, then we're gonna change it up a little bit, make it a little bit more complicated. All right? Yeah. Yep. Right back to your post. Yep. Grab again. Yep. Good. Up. Yep. Oh, wow. That was my fault. Yep. There it is. Just like that. Yep. Nice. Yep. then now, I'm going to pretend like you dropped that rebound right here, and I'm going to go collect it. And I want you to keep that same thing that we were talking about before in mind, right? If I'm that far, yep, I want to see good, tall shoulder position, get that blocker up on top of the pad, up, blocker.
Oh, blocker.
Yeah, blocker, up, keep going, up, keep it, bring that butt up, more. Yeah, there you go. All right, take away all that space, try it. All right, so right there, go. All right, up, reverse back, let's push. Good. Go. If there is a rebound on that second shot, we're going to play it once, okay? Go. Up. Push back up. Okay. I know, it's okay. It's okay. Don't sweat it. Just keep pushing through. Go. And show me an overlap on this one instead. Instead of automatically going into the RBA, stand. Yep. Hold your feet. All right. I'll drop this one. Right here. If I have the ability to stay on my feet, I always want you to. And when I'm talking about an overlap is, instead of backside pushing right to the post, if you stand where that puck is, right? I then am not taking an aggressive enough angle. All right, but if I backside push with overlap, right? Now I can take up the same space, cut down on that glove side angle. All right, so try that. If I give you a shot that allows you to stay up on your feet, shuffle across into an overlap instead of automatically going to the RBA. Go. All right. A lot easier, right? You don't have to worry as much about that recovery part. Same thing. Ready? Go. Nice. Good job coming across. I love the way that you held your blocker right there on top of your pad. It kept you upright, and it also took away the space. Go. Push across. Nice. Last one on this side. Go. Up and across. Nice. Good job. All right, we're going to switch sides. Same thing, first rep, it's just going to be the one shot. Second rep, that's when we'll change it up. Alright, so same thing, short side post, right out to the hook. Yep. Good. Right back. Go. 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 Two more. Go. Good. Last one. Go. Nice. I like the way that you came out aggressively and just attack that puck. And look what happened. We didn't necessarily get it in the mitt, right? But we knocked it away into an area that might be a problem. Because if we keep our glove too conservative, that puck will hit you, drop right down by your feet, and if there's a battle play, it's 50-50 at that point whether you're going to get it. Versus this, you knock it down, put it into the corner, give yourself time to recover. Same thing on this one, except now we're going to have that second chance opportunity. First 2 reps, I want you to do nice and slow. I'm not going to rush it. I want you to focus on getting back to that post as efficiently as possible, okay? Ready? Go. All right, staying on your shoulder. Good, look at that. That's a great rebound, right? You put it out away from the net, gave yourself a chance to recover, gave your teammates a chance to grab that rebound and break out. Same thing. Go. Up. Good. Great angle, back to the post. So what you did, great. As soon as you went to recover, you did a little bit of a C cut. You changed your trajectory to be back towards the post instead of staying too tall on the crease, and you cut off that angle on the short side. Great job. Keep it up. Go. There it is. Now, if you went RVH on that one, and just flipped off your shoulder, do you think I might have gone in?
Possibly.
Yeah, right? Notice how you took away another foot. All right? Put yourself in a great position to make an easy save. Try it again. Go. There it is. I like it. I like it a lot. One more. Oh, sorry, that was my fault. Push. Try it again. Go. Push, push, push. There it is. Look how much easier those rebounds are. You're like taking it from a 5 to an 8 with that little change, right? So instead of being a 50-50 goalie, now you're an 80% goalie. Now you're getting in front of almost all those pucks, and you're being boring. The best thing that you can be as a goalie is boring. All those crazy highlights, those big saves, how do they come about? Because there's a scrambled play, a broken play, and the goalie's got to get athletic and go left to right, laterally, whatever it might be, and try and do something phenomenal to make that save. That's great because it gets everybody out of their seats, it's flashy, makes for a good video, but the best thing you can be is a boring goalie. A goalie who just puts his body in front of it, gobbles up that rebound, nothing flashy about it. All right, a simple, boring game is better than a game that requires you to make 6 highlight reel saves. Because those 6 highlight reel saves have a much smaller percentage versus a nice boring save, right? You can make 80% of those boring saves versus 50% of those highlight reel saves. That's going to change not only your performance, right, but it's also going to change how they view you, right? Because they know that you're solid in the back, right? You're going to just stand there and make it a nice, easy game for them. They can trust you. They know that when they have you there, you're going to be there to catch their mistakes, make up for when they might slip up, they might make a bad turnover. The more that we do in the net, the more that we give ourselves a chance to get out of position, get caught through things, stuff like that. These nice little adjustments that you're making are perfect when it comes to these faster plays. So as the play gets faster, you need to be more efficient. All right? So, enough talking, let's finish up with one more thing, and that's I want you to try this. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go over here. Same thing as last time. I'm having you pick these pucks up off the wall. Alright, except this time, I want you to pick the pucks up off the wall, and I want you to fire them into that goal right there. The one with that green whatnot in it. You see it? Alright, so you're going to start here. Alright, facing the board. I'm going to have you pick the puck up, rotate, fire it down. Alright, so I'm going to try 2 with that stick and then 2 with mine. One more.
I like the weight on it too.
Right? Kidding me? Woo! Look at the change. Right? That was nice. Try it again. Alright, this time I want you to try and stay on top of the puck. No softs. I want you to try and keep it on the ice. Alright, so by doing that, we're going to keep it a little bit faster. Alright, so try and keep it on the ice this time. Good. You like it?
I like it. How much was this?
I think it was like 120, 130. You can have one if you want it.
No, it's fine. I don't want to take yours.
No, I have 3 of these, and I'm not playing right now. So if you want to borrow it and take it out on the ice, you know, a couple times, and then see how it feels, you know, that way you can kind of test drive it.
Alright.
Because if you look at this, remember what I was talking about before?
It's almost the same size.
So try this and show me your stance real quick. should do it already.
26?
I think so.
Alright.
Because what it's doing is, having a shorter paddle is forcing you to bring your shoulders down more, and to what we were talking about, the taller that you can keep your upper body angle, right? So notice the angle of my upper body in relation to where my hips are, right? Let me see your stick real quick. Alright, this stick is going to be below. This stick is going to be real short for me. Alright, so notice how deep I have to get into my stance. Where's my angle, right? Notice how far over my shoulders are. Now this is good if, for instance, the shot's coming from right here. Because if I bring my shoulders down over the puck, it actually cuts away that top side. However, if the shot's coming from further out, and I'm hunched over like this, it actually opens up that a lot more. Versus, if I have this, right? My stick and my body, look how much more vertical it is. My shoulders are presenting more square. It's allowing me to keep my upper body more square versus being too far over. So it's something to think about.